If you go up to the loft today, you're in for a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train that ever there was will gather there for certain, because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club.
I take it that that little ditty means that we are live.
Well, I hope we're live.
Oh, right. Oh, hello to you all. It's really great to see you. I hope I find you well. Welcome back to the Monday Club. It's great to see you. And before I forget, a big thank you to George Botterini for that really generous donation on Super Chat. Even before we started, thank you, George. That is incredibly generous. And it won't go towards a pizza because I've already given the cupboard monkey a pizza earlier on today.
She has, and it was very nice. Thank you very much.
Yes, in fact, you got defeated by the pizza.
I will. I'll drink to that.
Oh, yes. And so will I. And
Chin.
I was having a rather cheeky Cabernet Sauvignon earlier on.
And then I very cheekily poured Coke in it.
Well, I drank the wine first. But it's great to see you. I hope I find you all well. And I hope you all enjoyed the virtual Worley Model Railway exhibition that was on over the weekend. There were a couple of others as well, and it's just I can picture the shop now. There's a shop in I think it was Norwich. Also did one as well. Is it Northeastern Models? So there were definitely a lot of virtual model railway exhibitions on, but you may have seen me on the. I got interviewed live by Callum Wilcox of SDJR 7F88, and thank you very much for that. It was really great to be on. I feel really honoured to be invited to be interviewed. So did that and went down very well. And it's great to see all of you, and especially a big hello to any of you who've decided to drop in for the first time, having seen the interview on the virtual Worley Life. Why are you shaking your head?
James Sucks in Life has already noticed where you've put the TARDIS.
What, you mean he even beat Garthian?
Looks like.
Oh, wow. And where did he say it was?
In the background by the gate.
Oh, so they noticed the gate. Nobody said anything about the gate.
No one said anything about the gate so far.
The gate went in yesterday. I've finally finished the area over here.
Do you have a roving cam to show them the area?
Oh yes, I do actually.
Okay, show them the area.
Let's find the roving cam.
She's just going to overlook what I just said there, guys. Where I said show them your area.
Stop it! Behave yourself.
No, I can't possibly do that.
So this is the area that I've been working on over here. So we've got a camera on a very long wire.
According to Southern Train Girl, it was Great Eastern Models who had the virtual
That was the one. That was it. And really enjoyed that too. So there's an awful lot going on over the weekend. But it's amazing, isn't it? As soon as I stick my arm out to show you my special air... No, I'm not even going to complete that. To show you the area that I've been working on, a train goes past. A really long train. It's the van train, so hopefully it'll shove off in a moment. Oh, come on! We've just been bowled by the intercity train. Of course, intercity was the theme that the poll picked. Actually, won by just one vote. So there's the new fence. This is the ratio security fence. I do quite like this kit. Never used it before. And you can see there the TARDIS parked behind the gates, and they do work, but the glue is still just drying on the gate posts. So I'm really pleased that area is now all kind of finished itself. Whilst I've got this out, I will show you the cupboard monkey.
Don't put me on camera, the lens will crack.
And
hello.
As you'll see there, Gronk it up. This is part of the merchandise. So don't forget.
Don't show them how fat I am.
I wasn't pointing it out. You just pointed it out. So don't forget that you can check out the merchandise as well. Right, let's put the roving cam away and let's have a look at some of the comments. And in the meantime,
James Sucks in Life says, "Is that a pug that I see in the engine shed?"
Yes, there are actually 3 pugs on the layout at the moment. There's one at the back of the engine shed. There's one with the waste oil tanker, and there's actually one right over, just poking out of the goods shed. So 3 different pugs. and let me just try.
Ah, gratuitous backside camera. It's gratuitous.
It's covered. Hey, I am wearing clothes here.
Yes, you're not showing them your special area.
Oh, will you stop it? I thought it was me that had the wine. You are really naughty.
And well, yeah, I'm the covered monkey.
Yes, you are. You are a little monkey. So, a big hello to... Right, let's see. What have we got? J94, Flymo Chairman 1, Ham Shackleton, Leslie Gilpin, Patrick Ling. Let's have a look. Who else we got? Lifestyle Unleashed. Great to see you. Wham Gok. Just looking down. North End Sidings Model Railway. David Cook. Garthian. Tony Wright. So Garthian is in and he didn't notice the TARDIS.
Naive Gage says, Zoe, you have been promoted to clothes horse instead of covered monkey. I think I'll stick with the monkey. Although I do have the long face.
Paul Higgins, David Cook, North End Sidings Model Railway. Let's have a look. Who else have we got in? Henry's Transport, Adventures and Beyond. Barry Turner, Ben Tullett. Who else have we got? Richard Swiderski, Z Fantasy Trains. Bang Got You Junction, Carl Brand. Matty Matt Mann. Clive Cobalt, Pork Chop Express. I'm guessing that loads and loads of people have posted. I'm well behind on the comments.
We have 223 watching at the moment.
Yeah.
Only 53 likes though. So guys, if you could click that like button, it really does help the channel out.
It very much does. And also, don't forget to share the stream. Let other people know that we are live and kicking here with, and we've also got as well. Just to let you know, don't forget to submit your video. Send the URLs in an email to zoe@zoerobinson.com for a chance to have your video shown in the final half an hour of the show. Always love to see some of what you guys are up to. Always do enjoy seeing your layouts. Mike and Sue Putnam Junction, hi to you. AD Pullen. The Growler Backward Engage there, I think I've already mentioned you. Simon Trains, Paul Higgins. Lifestyle Unleashed, of course, yes. Don't know how many of you are interested in 3D printed loco bodies, but Shapeways have a 10% discount today if you use promo code Cyber2020. And of course, Lifestyle Unleashed have a load of models on there, Nwins 3D, so do look out for them. Matt Ovell, Hayden Warrape, let's have a look. Who else have we got? James Sucks in Life, Clive Cobold, Southern Train Girl, hi to you. Graham, David Scott, Pete Clark, Southern Train Girl, Robin Slewer, Mark Littlejohn, Darren Mould, Shanghai 264359, always great to see you. Timber Surf, hi to you. James Petts, Alan Reynolds, PVA, J Cloth, Alan, definitely. Map the Dragon Railways, Josh's Train Room, Daryl Hearn.
Wagon is spotted where the TARDIS has arrived now.
Oh, where is it? I
The
wasn't.
penultimate wagon of the call train.
Oh, good gosh. How do these people must have TARDIS O-vision.
He's got eyes of steel.
And well, yeah, Peter Leyland, hi to you. Robert Woodhouse. James Petts has noticed the Network Southeast Class 50. I've got two of them actually. One of them is sound fitted, but not the one that's running round. And actually, I don't. It's one of those things. People, I see a lot of comments online. People saying, "Oh, I wish somebody would tool up for a new Class 50 because the Hornby model's getting long in the tooth." I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of models ahead of the Hornby Class 50 in the queue that need to be retooled. The Hornby Class 50 is actually, in my view, a pretty good model.
And we need more Gronks.
Well, we've got two Gronks going round, but
in general, we just need more Gronks.
I've got about 12 of the things. But certainly, I mean, ahead of the Class 50, I would like to see, there's, Hornby's got a few models in the railroad range, as the county class, the GWR county class, and they are just crying out to be properly tooled up. The D4, oh, what's the one that had Shire names like Cheshire and stuff like that? I'm wanting to say D49, but I'm not sure that it is a D49. So yeah, there's definitely other models that should be ahead of the 50 in the queue. I mean, the 8F, we could do with the 8F being brought right up to modern standards. Although actually, again, that's another good model. Brian Harper, Ron Stanbridge, see who else have we got? Naive Gauge. Oh gosh, I'm so far behind. Putnam Junction. Jason Pryor says, hi there, watching you from my railway room, adding an extension to my hour gauge layout. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
And it's always great, isn't it, when you finally get to that point where you can extend your layout and suddenly there's that joy of that new layout joy. Like, oh, what are we going to put here? And but you still got the original layout as well to enjoy. So it's not like building a layout from scratch. It is very much like, you get the best of both worlds. So I always love trying to find little places where I can extend the baseboard. So I've done it a couple of times up here, actually.
She said extend.
Oh, yeah. Settle down, Beavis. Island Scenics, hi to you. Rule 1 Model Railways.
Hello, Sir Patrick Furlong.
And Somerset Trucking and Transport, hi to you. So many people. I'm going to try and get up to date. John Holding, Chris Gall 1959, Steve the Sweet, Matthew Hobbs, Chris's Trains, 57305 Northern Princess, Ankit Mishra. Right, who else have we got? If I could sit here all night reading out new names, there are so many people in it. It's great to see you all. But don't forget to like, share, and also subscribe if you're not already done so. Let's see. Oh, good God, you lot have been busy. So let's have a look at some of the up-to-date comments. And like I always say, if I don't read out your comment, if I don't answer your question, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's just simply that these questions do come in really, really quickly. Big hello to O. O'Neill as well. Gwian Rhys Davies as well. There's a lot of people, a lot of new names actually I don't recognise, and a lot of names that I do.
That's always what we like to see as well.
Definitely.
New people joining in.
Now, what's been going on? What's in the news? Well, you'll have seen last week we put out the reviews of the Acura scale PTA tipplers, and if I find the roving cam again, make sure it's the right way up so that we have the magic of uprighto vision. We are actually running that lovely rake. This is what actually comes in the box. You get 5 wagons in a box. And these are the Acura scale PTA wagons.
They're really nice, I have to admit. I'm not a big fan of locomotives, as you may have guessed from what I say on this show. But I really like those.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about the locos. I mean, I'm showing them now. We've got a couple of Gronks. The reason I've chosen these Gronks is because they're actually, both of these are in intercity livery. So we've got at the front, that's the Bachmann 08 800. And behind it, we've got the Hornby 08673.
I thought for a second there, when you were saying that, you were going to go, and this one's the 081 811 8181.
That was the number for...
going live.
Yes. But interestingly enough, I mean, they've disappeared off there now with this rake of Acura scale PTAs. What it actually shows is that the Bachmann Class 8 and the Hornby Class 8 do actually sit next to each other quite well. But even though I would put the Hornby model just slightly ahead of the... I think the Hornby model is the better model, but the Bachmann model is still a respectable model, and there is a price differential, so you pays your money and you takes your choice. So we've got those PTAs running on the innermost track. What would you like, Cupboard Monkey?
Russell Benton actually has an excellent question that's come up here.
Okay, yes.
There's a Rapido announcement tomorrow. Would you expect it to be a prototype HST?
That actually sounds like that could be the sort of thing that they would do, I must admit. I don't actually know. Actually, I do know that a new UK-based manager, head of marketing and media and stuff like that. You may know him as the guy who runs Hardy's Hobbies, I believe. So I might actually drop him a message and just see if I can get a press release at some point, and we'll probably put something out actually about that tomorrow. Yeah. But certainly, if it's going to be a big announcement like a full range, we might do a live stream. But I don't think it'll be anything like that. But I know that Rapido Trains are definitely looking at expanding into the UK market. I mean, it's great, isn't it, that for a long, long time, we basically had Bachmann and Hornby and a little bit of Daypole, and Daypole was more of a kind of N gauge for a good long while. And now we've got Hellion, we've got Acura scale, we've got Rapido, we've got Sonic models, Cavalex.
Sonic the Hedgehog?
No, not Sonic the Hedgehog, Cavalex. KR models. There's so many different manufacturers. We are being spoiled rotten, that has to be said.
Okay, we've got an interesting question here, based on what you've just been saying. Ham Shackleton says, Jen, why do you pronounce it a Cura scale when the word accurate is pronounced accurate? Why wouldn't you say Acura scale?
Accurate. That sounds a bit strange. I don't know. We'll have to look. We've got an interview that I did, an exclusive interview with Fran Burke of Acura Scale, coming up on Wednesday. And I'll have to see, actually. I've not really thought about it, but I'll have to see how he pronounces it. But
I've got to jump in because Ankit Mishra says, how does the Enigma engine work with the Suprasil's engine? It's a mystery. It's an enigma.
Yeah. I see what you did there.
Yeah. I don't actually know the answer. I just had to make that joke.
J94 says, not heard of Sonic models. I could actually be misremembering that. It's the N-Gauge models. I know that they've got, I think it's the 56XX coming out in N-Gauge, which is being distributed by Rails of Sheffield.
N-Gauge?
Yes, very much, yes. Yes. What scale does Captain Picard model? N-Gauge, yes, I know. Let's have a look. Yeah, Tony Wright says Rails of Sheffield stock Rapido trains. Yeah, they are out there, but primarily US and Canadian outline stuff. Although they did do the J70 for model rail, and that is a model that I would love to get one of. It's on the list, but the list is quite long, and money does not quite stretch as far as you might imagine.
Northern Sidings has a response to why you say Acura scale. So he says it's like how some people say bath, and some people say bath, and others say wash bucket.
But it's bath. If you're posh, it's bath. If you're not posh, it's bath. So I say bath. It's like I say scone.
Latin, it's aquae sulis.
It's like I say scone. I hate it when I hear people say scone. It's like, no, because it's vowel, consonant, E. In any other word, vowel followed by a consonant, followed by an E at the end of the word, the first vowel is always pronounced as its name, not as it sounds. So it would be O rather than O. It would be A rather than A. It would be E rather than E.
Today's linguistics lecture came to you from Jenny Kirk. You're watching the Open University.
Yes.
Also, just remember, rapid speed baking, scone.
No. Also, grammar police to correct and serve. Right. Yeah, Ron Stanbridge, absolutely right. APTE, but it is an expensive model. Did the Sterling single. Right, Bagnall Dave, big hello to you. B. Moza says Rapido also did the APTE and the Great Northern Railway #1 for the Rail Museum. Definitely. And they are incredible models. They are literally museum quality models from what I've heard. Yeah, J94 says, oh cool Jenny, didn't the N-Gauge 56Xs were going to be made by them? Yes, definitely. 57305 Northern Princess, Rapido had planned to do the prototype HST many years ago after the APTE, but it got written as it's shelved. Yeah, so that actually, I will make some inquiries actually and see what may be afoot. They might just say, get lost, you can find out with the punters. But they may actually drop me a press release, probably in the morning. But I am actually interested to see, because it is getting... sometimes some people say, oh, we're going to run out of prototypes to do. No, there are literally tens of thousands of prototypes, if not more, when you factor in all of the rolling stock as well. But certainly locomotive-wise, I mean, when you think that, there was a huge number of, even the LNER and its constituents, the 060 locomotives, Class J's, they had an awful lot of them. Were they J1 to J39 with tenders, and then J50 to J94 as 060 tank locomotives. There's a lot of those have never appeared in model form, so there's still a lot of scope, even from locomotives that comparatively recently, as in lasted long enough to be photographed and into the BR period, have not been made in model form. And I would like to light a candle and fly a flag for the J92, which is actually a crane locomotive. I do really like the idea that somebody might do that.
You're not putting the candle right under the flag, are you?
No, because that would be a real fire hazard. Right.
I just had to check because,
Yeah,
Russell
Benton says lots of DMUs still to cover. A Transpennine DMU would be nice. Yeah, I'd love to see a Class 124 and a Class 126. Love to see them in model form. We are slowly getting some. Obviously, Hellion have announced the Class 104. That's a really welcome announcement. So we're starting to pick them up. So, that will mean that we'll have the 101. Then the 104's been announced. We have the 105. The 108. I have seen a 107 done, but it used the 108 tooling. It was a special for Harbin Hobbies. And I'm not entirely certain what differences there were between the 107 and 108, but they did a 108 in the livery and markings of a 107. We've had the 128 from Hellion, and actually I really like that model. We've had it in both 00 and O gauge. I do have one of the 00 ones. It is incredibly heavy, even though they would usually run on their own or maybe with a van or two as a tail load. In model form, they can pull longer trains than some of the big locomotives. What would you like, Cupboard Monkey? I see you signalling.
I know, you went off.
She's like, excuse me.
You went off on a big discussion.
Mom.
That's perfectly fine. It's your show. But
yes,
Chris's Train says, Hatton's Claus is sending me my O gauge Gronk today. Does anyone know where I can find a TTS sound chip for an 08?
An O gauge 08. Right. One thing I will warn you is, now I've heard of people using the Hornby TTS sound chips in the Dapol O gauge models, but be warned, I don't think that the TTS chips, I don't think that they've got the power output. If you really load down that locomotive, it might not work. It might cut out at best, or blow the decoder at worst. The Class 8 decoders from Hornby came and went very, very quickly. Now, I know that I got in, literally, I had them ordered when they were announced, and I managed to get 2. So,
why have you Gronkies stopped?
Because the front one's got a dirty pickup. So what you're hearing there is the sound. There. Oh, that's the one I was looking for.
Yeah, that's quality.
No, thank you. So they are a really good sound chip. They're actually one of my favourite sound chips from the TTS range, but you can't get them for love nor money because people had a lot of Gronks, and
yes, you did.
And in all honesty, they kind of all got snapped up. I couldn't think of a single shop that might still have them in stock. You might want to check some of the lower traffic, more unusual ones. Check out Bolton Model Mart as one. I'm not saying that Phil there has them, but I know that actually Bolton Model Mart, I did actually speak to Phil a few days ago, and because they don't have a web presence, they're really struggling at the moment. Now, we've just filmed the second to last, the penultimate Project 009 video, and that included needing a lot of things like woodland scenic accents, backman scenecraft, and model scene figures and animals. And actually, it was one of the only places where I could find a good range of these in stock. So do give him a call on the phone and see what he's got, because he might have some of the TTS decoders that you can't get elsewhere. I'm not saying he will do, but it's always worth a check. And there'll be a lot of other low volume, low profile model shops out there which are in the same position. I can see you revving up for a question, or am I?
No, I'm just waiting for you to finish, because Tony Wright says, Jenny, which locomotive would you recommend for a 009 layout? Now, you've just been talking to me about this for the video that we've been filming.
we have literally just filmed something for this, and the one which I'm really loving at the moment are the Bachmann Baldwins. That would be something that I would really recommend. And just taking a moment here, New Durham Junction Model Railway has very kindly donated 99p on the super chat. Thank you ever so much for that. That is very, very generous, and certainly probably put that towards. I'm quite taken by the idea actually of getting one of those J70s, but that will take me a little bit close to that. So thank you ever so much for that.
And of course, it helps to keep the lights on as well.
It does. It does help to keep the lights on. Oh no, the lights have gone off.
The lights are on.
Actually, how bad does it? Oh, that does look a bit dingy with the lights off, doesn't it?
Yeah, don't keep doing that.
Right.
It gets very atmospheric.
It does. Right. Anyway, so the Bachmann 009. Let's just try and find one. I've actually got them up here. So I've got a video coming out. It will be not this Wednesday's video, but next Wednesday's. It's all been filmed, and there it is. Look how small these are, and yet they have the craftsmanship of the Swiss watch. Oh,
We're bringing out the action cam. If you press,
is that the right way?
Press the button, see?
Yeah, I don't know whether it will focus this close up. So you can see there's one of the Bachmann Baldwins, and it natively supports sound. This is what amazed me. There's actually a little speaker in here. I think it's similar.
It's tiny.
I know, but I think it's similar to how Rails and Dapol did the Terrier. It was pre-fitted with a speaker. And it's got a Next 18 decoder socket in there, so it natively supports sound. And from a model this small, it's incredible. It's got at least one, possibly two brass flywheels on the motor. And you look at it and you think, how do they fit all this in? But they do. So look out for a full review on these. But certainly, at the moment, this is actually the locomotive that I recommend. There are others available. The Hellion Manning Wardle is currently on sale still at Rails of Sheffield, and I do have one here. A very, very heavy locomotive. So I'm going to hold that up because the monkey is messing about now.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't actually paying attention to you.
Yeah, no,
you want to
don't.
show it, do you, on the action cam?
Well, yeah, just leave it alone.
There you go.
Right, okay, right, now let's stop messing.
Can I put this back where it's supposed to be now?
Yeah, okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
thank you so much,
wow.
Nuts and Bolts 77.
So, my word.
Goodness.
Nuts and Bolts 77 has very, very kindly donated via Super Chat $20. Thank you ever so much for that. That is incredibly generous. And it really does help when people either donate through the Super Chat, paypal.me as well, and also becoming a Patreon. It does help support the channel. And of course, need to have a big mention to all of the other channels across YouTube. A lot of people trying to make ends meet, trying to make some great content. And Patreon does help out all of those.
It really does.
But anyway, going back to, meanwhile, back at the ranch, the 009 locomotives, and again, thank you ever so much, Nuts and Bolts 77. But the Manning Warden from Hellion, one word of warning for these is that they don't like really tight corners. But it is possible to make a decent layout that you can get round the corners. I would also like to bring your attention, let me just pull her out. And this is actually, don't ignore some of the overseas models as well. So this is from Roco, and it's an 060 and tender. It's a lovely little model. I'm not quite sure what class of loco it is. As far as I can tell, I think it's modelled on a prototype that run on the Österreich Bundesbahn. And so that's the
You just like pretending that you can speak German.
I can. The B, as in O with a big umlaut on top, B. Österreich literally translates as Eastern Empire, but actually is the native word for Austria.
I didn't know that Reich meant empire. I thought it just meant land.
Could be. I always thought that Reich was empire. It's picked up a few connotations over the years, but certainly this is from
those wacky people from the 40s and 30s and 20s.
Yeah,
they caused a lot of trouble, you know.
Yeah, but enough about them. But this model from Roco, again, incredibly well made. They are a good deal more expensive.
Is that your Roco Loco?
It is my Roco Loco. But interestingly enough, I discovered when I went to DCC Fit this, I thought I'm going to have a go at DCC fitting it. I didn't realise until I went to try and hardwire to it. It's like, hold on, that looks like a DCC blanking plate. Pulled it out, and yes, this is DC. Well, it's now DCC fitted, but I was able to fit. Bachmann do a 90-degree pinned 6-pin decoder direct plug, and it's the perfect fit for one of these. So that's another option. And I've got 4 009 locos. The other one, which I've not shown you, is just a Baldwin in a different livery. But the Baldwin, I would say, certainly if you're buying in the UK and you want to model UK outline, although Baldwins did get a lot of use across Europe as well. They are a good, well-made model, and Rails of Sheffield at the moment, I know I keep mentioning Rails of Sheffield, but they've got them at a pretty reasonable price at the moment. Right, I hope you're keeping an eye on the comments, because whilst I'm yabbering away...
At the moment, I am keeping an eye on the amount of emails that are coming in with videos for tonight. We have a fair amount, I believe. Let's have a quick check.
Excellent.
We now have 12, so I think we've got more than enough to keep us going. That's going to be very nice.
Let's have a look. The Angels Share Model Railways, hi to you. Josh's Train Room. J. Paul Anderson, Österreichische Bundesbahnen. So I stand corrected. B2000 RO Toys channel. That's a nice locomotive, Jenny. I love 009 scale. I have Scar Lowy from Thomas the Tank Engine. I must admit, actually, the Scar Lowy and Rheneas, I do like the look of. I will be looking out for those when, if and when Bachmann introduce them to the UK market. Not least because I believe that they can be un-Thomased into the prototype locomotives that they were based on quite readily. So I am going to look out for those. Big hello to Wardle Road, great to see you in. Ron Stanbridge as well. Jason Pryor, who says, hi there, I've just sent you £5 via PayPal. Thank you ever so much. That is incredibly generous. In fact, I must sort out, let's have a look. I need to make sure that, oh, come on, silly thing. There we go. Make sure that I don't miss out thanking people who've sent using the paypal.me link that's in the description box. So let's have a look. Jason Pryor, thank you ever so much for the £5. The reason I'm laughing is I've seen the other person who has sent some money, Patrick Furlong, who says, stop being cruel to my friend the cupboard monkey, LOL. He sent you £1.11.
Thank you very much, Sir Patrick.
Thank you, that is incredibly generous of you. So thank you ever so much for that. Right, let me make sure that my stream is up to date. Let's have a look. I did see a comment from Bo Minnick. There we are. So Bo Minnick says, so if you're buying locos from other nations, when are you picking up a big boy? Now, the reason I've got, it's a long convoluted story. The reason I've got the Roco model is it formerly belonged to Les Cliff, and I did a swap with him for another locomotive that I had spare that he wanted, and we did a like-for-like swap. So that's how I ended up with it. And at the time, I only had the Hellion Manning Wardle, and I wanted another loco for Project 009. I then subsequently was able to pick up 2 Bachmann Baldwins, but I've actually fallen in love with that Österreichische Bundesbahnen locomotive.
Roof Railway says, hello, I woke up from eye surgery today, can't see what's there. but it sounds great. My goodness, get well soon.
Oh, very much so. I do hope everything is all right with you. And what you're actually hearing is, I will describe what's going around at the moment. So, we have got a Class 50, which is actually a Hornby Class 50, as number 50045 in Network Southeast livery. This is pulling a very long ventilated van train.
It really is long as well.
Yeah, I think there's about 55 wagons, something like that. So that's on the outermost track. We move one track in, and we have the Somerset Andy Class 47 Firefly, which is in intercity livery. This is a Bachmann model. It is actually sound fitted with a Hornby TTS Class 47 sound chip. They are even harder to find at the moment than the Class 8 ones, it has to be said. And I'm forever grateful to Somerset Andy, who actually sent it into the channel, because at the time I didn't have a Class 47 and it was deemed such a glaring omission. He very kindly sent me one. Behind that is actually, it's a Bachmann Class 37 Bully Day. It's a 37.4 in intercity livery. Now, it is actually freewheeling because it does not possess a motor or gear towers. And it was bought second hand for about £10 purely for its body. And actually, I made it so it could freewheel, fixed it up, and it's great for double heading. Behind that is my full rake of Bachmann Mark 1s in intercity colours. It is the full set, every single one that they did, the Mark 1s, plus the Gov that I recently picked up. So a big thank you to the individual who was selling that through Facebook. I don't know if they knew who they were selling it to, or indeed if they watched the channel, but if they do, thank you ever so much, because it's an amazing model, received with thanks at an amazing price, and it has completed my intercity collection there. The next track in, we have a Bachmann Class 37, ready weathered. It is actually sound fitted, if I can find it. It's got a lovely sound chip. So there we go. That's the Bachmann 37, and that is pulling a very long, primarily 16-ton mineral train. All Bachmann wagons, every single one is different, by the way. The next track in from that, we have a Bachmann 25 shuffling around. Oh, I'd missed out the Bachmann Class 43 that is on a shuttle going up and down the link line between the top and bottom yards. There's a Class 25 doing much the same through the yard. And then the innermost track, we have a pair of Class 8s, both in intercity livery. One is a Bachmann one is a Hornby one, and they are pulling a full rake of 5 of the brand new Acura Scale PTA wagons. Indeed, it's the rake which I reviewed last Wednesday, and that is the full complement of stuff that's going round. Now, we did have the poll on the Facebook group page. Don't forget, if you're not a member of the Facebook group page, do go and check it out over there. I've seen people have very kindly posted a link to that in the chat. But we had a poll to decide the theme for tonight's live stream, and you don't have to stick to the theme. When you send in videos, it doesn't matter if it's not intercity theme, but intercity won the poll. It's just a bit of fun. In fact, it won by 1 vote. I was very impressed that intercity made a spirited comeback, made up for lost time, and beat Tender Locos by 1 vote. What do you want?
I talked to Donald Trump about this, and he said, this is wrong, this is bad, the vote was rigged, and he demands a recount.
Yes, and we did do a recount, and it came out exactly the same. But we also have a magical mystery loco. We have a Class 25 in intercity livery as an Ethel 3, which is just... It is actually fully motorised. It will run under its own power, but it's a special edition Bachmann loco. It's not on screen at the moment, but that's... I've basically got every single item of intercity that I own is out on the layout at the moment.
Lifestyle Unleashed has an interesting opinion here. I'm not a fan of sound chips. They're not realistic.
I understand where you're coming from. I don't fully agree. I like a little bit of sound, but I don't like it to excess. And what I actually do tend to find is that... Are you all right there, Cupboard Monkey?
Just a little bit.
what I actually do find is that I tend to turn them off after a while, the actual sound, because I get bored of it. If you're doing shunting, they can be really, really good. And I think it takes a lot to have a sound chip that really, really does work well. Now, I know Garthian will be pleased for me to mention this. The Sutton Locomotive Works Class 24. Now, the sound decoder that's fitted in that, I believe it's a Zemo, and it is incredibly well done because it matches a lot of the spot sounds to what the locomotive is actually doing. So rather than you having to go, oh, I'm sure I've got a spot sound for X, Y, and Z, I will press that button. It does it automatically to what the driving style is going on. And I do like that about that. So the Sutton Locomotive Works Class 24 is one of the better sound decoders that I have heard. I also really like the one that's in the Rails of Sheffield Dapol Terrier. That too. I like that so much that I bought the review sample. So I ended up with a sound-fitted Box Hill quite a while before anybody on the open market had one. I feel very grateful that they actually let me buy the sample. But you know, it's like the guy, was it the Remington Razor guy? He says, in fact, I liked the product so much I bought the company. I didn't buy the company, but I did buy the model.
Ben Tollett says, I see Jenny is on the fun drink tonight. Yes. She's been in the location or the vicinity of wine, and therefore she is very, very happy.
We've had a cheeky Cabernet Sauvignon.
Now, speaking of cheekies,
yes.
What cheeky item did I purchase last week on the Monday Club that has arrived today and we had a try on it?
Oh, yes. I think we mentioned this last week. So I'm just going to angle it so the light doesn't reflect off it. But this is the Thomas the Tank Engine action game by Waddingtons. What sort of year is this from?
It's from the 80s, if I remember correctly.
It's got a barcode. When did barcodes
They
come
came in the early 80s, but they were kind of phased in.
No, because I remember shopping before barcodes.
Yes, they got phased in during the 80s.
But we had a test play of this actually earlier on today, and I must admit it's not as bad as I thought. And you know, I'm 21,
and a bit, and then another bit,
and another 21 on top. I'm basically, you get two 21-year-olds for the price of one. But actually, it's quite good fun. Actually, I couldn't play it all the time, but we really did quite enjoy that. Now, I'm sure that there was some other news. Can't remember what it was. Interestingly enough, a lot of people are talking very favourably about the Dapol Mogul. Now, I did a full review of this. It went out as last Friday's video. And it must be said that a lot of people are saying that it could be the model of the year. And it's one which I did really like it. It got a good review. That review is doing really well on the views as well. So a lot of people are watching that. I've seen a lot of other people have bought it and done reviews. If anything, there's more reviews of that model on YouTube at the moment than any other model that I've seen. But pretty much, I've not seen anybody give it a bad review. And yes, it could be the model of the year. Although models that turn up late in the year do stand a better chance because you tend to have forgotten about the ones that came out right at the beginning, it has to be said.
Well, you're not going to. I know exactly what you're going to do. Zoe, can you just compile me a spreadsheet of all of my scores?
No, we're going to be doing the top 5 mods. I'm not going to do the worst 5. I really despise clickbaity stuff like that. But one of the things as well that I did comment on it actually. I don't comment on other people's videos an awful lot because I don't want to kind of steal focus away from them. And also I'm quite lazy. I watch videos, so I'm immediately watching the next one. But I left a comment on somebody's video that did a really, I think it was Melchester Model Railway, did what I thought was a very, very in-depth, detailed and thoroughly honest review on the EFE, the EFE version of the BT Well tank. And I have to say that, you know, we talked about this last week, and I had mine running. Now, the one that I have running is actually a DJ Models one, but the actual design hasn't changed. So mine comes from the second batch. First batch were done by Daypol. Second and I think third batches were done by DJ Models. There may be a fourth batch that was DJ Models, and then fifth was EFE, or it might be that EFE is the fourth batch. But the fundamental design's not particularly changed. Now, my model I found really good. And Melchester Model Railways did a really great review. Do go and check it out. Tickle the like button as well. Tell him I sent you. But I left a comment to say it was refreshing to see a thoroughly honest review about that. And it was actually the model of 2011. What do you want there, Company?
Gage says you should comment on videos that you watch, Jenny. It would encourage people if they already know who you are.
Yeah, there is that. I'm always very much aware that Slope's Game Room doesn't tend to comment an awful lot, because when he does, it just gets mobbed by people going, "Oh, it's DJ Slopes."
There is that, but he does show up, and so does Guru Larry. Guru Larry, in fact, has a reputation amongst gaming YouTube for apparently watching everything. And commenting on lots of it.
It's his full-time job, I guess. Actually, no, I think it was either Guru Larry or DJ Slopes. I think it was DJ Slopes. I was watching a dash cam video, and when I looked at the comments, and he'd made a comment about one of the drivers, and everybody. Then there was like 2,000 comments going, "Oh my God, it's Guru Larry." DJ Slope, whichever one it was.
Every time Guru Larry turns up, someone says, "Hello, you." Bo Minnick says, he's blaming you, by the way. Your Daypol 260 review meant that Rails got more of my money. So
Excellent.
You're to blame.
Did you use the affiliate link? It doesn't cost you a penny more, but it does actually really help out the channel, it must be said.
My goodness, Wurzel's got a business head on tonight.
Yes, very much, yeah. Dazza 1977, great to see you. And also Melchester Model Railway. Gosh, your ears must have been burning. Says, thanks Jenny for watching my review, much appreciated. Definitely, it was a good review.
It looked like a good review, yeah.
I showed you because I was sat next to you on the sofa, and I said this is a really good review. I like your style, it really did work well.
Yeah, you were talking all the way through my episode of House that I was watching.
I did, yeah. Big hello to Brecknock Valley Model Railway, Crossways Point Junction, great to see you. Garthian says, AD, I don't mind if the firebox glow is dim. You wouldn't have the firebox door open all the time. Yeah, but it is nice to see it. And I must admit, it was really my only... I don't even want to call it a major gripe with the Mogul. It was simply a case of... I felt you couldn't really easily see it, even if you turned all the lights out and went looking for it. I think there may be a way to change how bright it is in CVs, but I'm not entirely sure. Fat Wallet Boy 2 says, not sure if you've already covered it, but how good was the Wally 2020 virtual exhibition content on YouTube? I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Actually, yeah, we did mention it at the start because somebody that we know quite well...
Was it you?
Got interviewed, and certainly, yeah, I thought it was great. And it's one of the things that you're smiling
No,
at.
you go for it. I've got an answer to a question we had earlier on.
Just
keep going.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was great. It's great that these virtual model rail exhibitions are being put on. There was also the Great Eastern Models one as well, and it's really, really great that people are adapting to current COVID times and getting stuff out there. And it's one of the things that I know in the interview I did say about the Monday Club was how important it was for people to get that kind of live interaction, to be able to speak and talk with like-minded modelers and kind of feel part of the community. And that's what we've really been going for here.
Do you think some of these live things will happen more next year and the years after, now that's been proved to be effective?
Sorry, what?
Do you think some of these live shows that have been going on the internet will happen more next year and the years after, now that it's been shown to be effective?
Yes, I think that certainly smaller model railway exhibitions, you may find that smaller clubs who might not necessarily have had the financial means to put on an actual physical exhibition may well actually view it as being a great way of doing a show and actually building up to the point where they can put on a full physical show. But I'd also like to see whether maybe bigger clubs like Worley, like the MRC with Alexandra Palace, might actually consider introducing an extra show that's a virtual show. that would bring in people who might not necessarily be able to get to a physical show. So I think that virtual exhibitions may well be something that we are going to see more and more.
Exactly, yeah. I think the issue that can't be overstated is the fact that anyone who's got mobility issues isn't hampered from enjoying the hobby and enjoying the exhibitions when there's a live stream.
And actually, when you go to the physical exhibitions, you do see a lot of people with things like mobility scooters getting around and seeing stuff. It is great to see.
Okay, we've got an answer to the question of when the Thomas the Tank Engine action game came out. David Scott says Thomas board game was introduced by Waddingtons in 1986. And that's why it's got a barcode.
Right, but when was it discontinued?
Now that's a question because it is a rare game. It wasn't popular.
I think it may have fallen foul of licensing in that they licensed it and then they lost the license or didn't wish to pay the exorbitant money to renew it.
But they keep making the other games.
What other games?
There are several Thomas the Tank Engine games. There's board games, there's match games.
But are they made by Waddingtons?
Some of them are. But that one only came out for a while, and it's
maybe
a weird
it
one.
wasn't successful. Maybe it was expensive to make. There may be reasons. Crossways Point Junction says a big thank you for the shout out, Jenny. You're absolutely welcome. North End Sidings Model Railway says I do like the EOT lamp on those Acura scale wagons. Yeah, at the moment it has to be said, I don't have. Where has it gone? Oh, it's coming out the tunnel over there. In fact, if I go to this angle, we'll just see it. I haven't actually got them running at the moment. I like that. I just don't turn stuff like that on. Very lazy. But I know what you mean. It is a great feature. Z Fantasy Trains asks, any new exhibitions or live streams coming up? Not that I know of, but I'm usually the last to know about many things. I rely on you guys to tell me a lot of the time. So it doesn't mean that there isn't. Crossways Point Junction says, I have hit the like button, Flymo. I only need 4 more subscribers to hit 100. Boom! And also don't forget...
Congratulations on achieving that, by the way.
It is a good milestone. But like I always say, I'm perfectly happy when people plug your YouTube channel. Don't go nuts. Don't spam the stuff. But do let people know if you've got a YouTube channel and producing model railway related content.
Absolutely.
I'm always big on the fact that I do know how hard it can be to build an audience on YouTube. And I'm not one of those YouTubers that likes to pull the ladder up after them and keep things exclusive. So I do like people to be able to get noticed.
And also, what we keep saying to people, and I really hope this does get through to some of the other tubers who like to try and be exclusive. This is not a zero-sum game. Someone else getting more exposure doesn't mean that you get less.
Yeah, definitely. Daz1977 says, Jenny, you have 2 of my favourite engines on your layout, the Class 37s. Oh, I mean, they are really good. I've got a 37.0, I think it is, and a 37.4. I must admit, I'm not as big a fan of 37s as I am of other things, but they do grow on me. Actually, I must admit, I am really looking forward to the Acura scale Class 37s, which I think they've now been put back to next year. I will have to check that. But certainly, all manufacturers are suffering delays because of COVID. It's actually something that I did talk with Franbert from Acura Scale about in the interview, that's coming to this channel as the Wednesday video, so do look out for that.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Island Scenic says, sorry, I will have to watch this another time. My internet is being a brackets. Please insert your own word here. I can sympathise. We had this all yesterday, and you may have noticed when I turned up on the Worley virtual exhibition, I turned up as some kind of dodgy phone call, and the reason for that was because our internet died completely. So we then tried to do it on 4G and found that actually 4G was saturated, didn't have the bandwidth to do it.
Almost as if everyone in the area was trying to use 4G because their internet didn't work.
Yeah, there would be some of that. I think as well, the tower was flaking between 3G and 4G. Yeah. But presumably because loads of people were just surfing the net on the phones. Right.
I totally wasn't honest.
Wamgok, though, does point out we put a real show on to make funds. Yeah, very much. But I think certainly for maybe very small model rail groups, it might be quite daunting to put on a first show. And a virtual model railway exhibition does kind of get your toe in the water and get you noticed to build up enough of a following to then put on a physical one. Stephen Cameron says, I never realised how much human companionship meant until the lockdown. We're all missing someone. Definitely. I mean, in the Cupboard Monkey's case, the Cupboard Monkey really wants to visit her parents. And we've seen your parents, maybe twice?
Twice since Christmas.
Yeah, since last Christmas, maybe twice. And how often we'd normally see them? Probably once every 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't go up to Durham, then they would come down here, and that hasn't been able to happen. I've not seen a huge amount of my own parents, even though they live just up the road. So I know exactly where you're coming from, and it can be very difficult, especially for people who maybe live alone, have relatives that live a long, long way away. But also maybe people, maybe your social life is very heavily dependent on, for example, membership of a model railway club that's not been able to meet. And that can really, almost overnight, have a huge effect on people and also their mental well-being and mental health. And
mental health is something that is really important. And I hope that everyone is getting the time and the health that they need and the companionship, because I've suffered. Yeah. I've suffered quite badly this year, and I hate for anyone else to be in the same position.
Yeah, and I think it's the case that it's one of the things that I felt was very important. I remember when lockdown was first announced back in March in the UK, we were actually on the live stream at the time. It was announced during the live stream, and we said there and then that we were going to make the Monday Club something to kind of keep the community together, to give people that social interaction. And I think we've striven for that, and we keep striving for that throughout lockdown. And I know that a lot of people have said to me that they really do appreciate that. But look, don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you've not already done so. Let other people know that the Monday Club is on, and tickle that like button, show your appreciation as well. We've got 332 people in. We've got a great turnout tonight.
My goodness, Mark Holt says he's only seen his granddaughter once, and she was born in March.
Oh man, I really do feel for you. I mean, we've barely seen our little nephew Charlie.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen him maybe twice. And they grow up so quickly when they're very, very young. It's a very pivotal time. And it really is. It's difficult. I miss the fact that I can't see my little nephews, like little Henry, who lives and breathes trains.
He would love to be here right now.
Oh yeah, I know he avidly watches these. So big hello to Henry from your Auntie Jenny.
You're gonna have to spoil him rotten when he arrives.
I will do.
Once all this is finished.
Oh wow. B. Mozza says, Jenny, once the coach arrives, keep it. Are you absolutely sure? That is incredibly generous of you. Oh, thank you ever so much. Brian Mosby is letting me keep. He's sending me a coach to review. It's the new Hornby Rocket second class coach. Thank you ever so much. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you ever so much for that. And we are looking forward to doing a full review on that. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to the Hornby Stevenson second class coach. They have been delivered over the last few days. I've seen a lot of posts from people. And B. Mozza has really, really kindly offered to lend me one of those coaches. And it's now just in the chat. I've just seen it. Said to keep the coach. Thank you so much for that.
That is very generous. Thank you so much.
Lifestyle Unleashed says, I'm a long way from 100 subscribers and have both model and narrow gauge live stream videos on there. Please, please, please subscribe, folks. There's a Christmas special video going live on December the 24th. That's Lifestyle Unleashed. So do go and check them out as well. Elena Griggs says, did it take a long time to make it? I bet it did. My brother loves trains so much. I'm presuming you're talking about make it as in get to where I am on YouTube.
Or build the layout, I'm not sure.
Well,
But
in terms
took a
of...
long time.
Right, see, because the thing, I didn't just sort of like go, I shall do YouTube today and then be successful overnight. It didn't actually happen like that.
It took like 8 years. 8 or 9 years.
To actually reach a point where it felt like I was getting somewhere. I joined YouTube back in, I think it's about 2007, something
Very
like
long
that.
time ago.
So back before it was commercial, you know, when you were considered a big YouTuber if you had 10,000 subs. And I didn't have 10,000 subs back then. And I kind of just put up odd videos. And actually, if you look right back to some of my earlier content, a lot of it was radio focused and book signings. And a lot of those videos we had to take down simply because there was background music, you know, because we were on radio and there'd be the music playing over the monitor speakers in the studio. So when YouTube had a clamp down, we had to remove most of our content.
And of course, the start of your rail videos was basically you weren't sure you wanted to do it, and I kept pushing you and saying, I need practice editing. Can you?
Yeah, I started doing these videos as practice for her to build her channel, and then I went and overtook because it just happened that I found the niche.
You found what really worked for you.
And it's what I always say to people, if you're passionate about what it is you're making videos about, then that does come across. And people will kind of buy into and enjoy that passion and enthusiasm. And I guess, you know, you don't have to, if you find you're having to work at the enthusiasm, then I'd say that you're probably not making videos in the area that you really want to.
Although don't take it as a temporary thing. Remember, we've had days where we just didn't want to do it.
Oh wow!
Everyone has a down period.
Crossways Point Junction has very, very kindly donated £4.99 on the super chat. Thank you ever so much for that. They say, I love the Monday Club. It's a good start to the week. Oh, thank you ever so much. That is incredibly kind of you. Tony Wright says, Jenny and Zoe, you do a tremendous job of keeping everyone connected. I enjoy the Monday Club and look forward to it every week. Thank you ever so much. Jason Pryor says, having Asperger's makes meeting new people difficult for me. I now belong to the Norfolk Model Railway Syndicate, which we are only a small group of people, which is ideal for me. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, it's, I think that, you know, I know a lot of people who are on the autistic spectrum, have Asperger's, and I know that it can be really difficult. I mean, I myself find it very difficult to meet new people, and
you have had a few people when you've met them who have Asperger's ask if you're on the spectrum, haven't you?
When we filmed for Biggest Little Railway, there's a couple of people who were autistic to various degrees. Actually said to, just as the filming went on, came over to me and said, "You're autistic, aren't you?" And it does fit. I've never been diagnosed as autistic, but it actually explained an awful lot when people who were autistic, who obviously recognised what to look for, actually said, "You're autistic as well, aren't you?" And it's sometimes actually realising you might be is part of the journey, in that once you realise that's what it might be, it does make some things more easy, and because you're no longer as self-critical, you're not in your head thinking, what am I doing wrong? You kind of suddenly realise, actually, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just it's the way I am. I'm not weird. There's lots of people like me. I can feel happier about that and embracing it. But
sometimes knowing what it is exactly what you need. It's like with me when I got my bipolar diagnosis. It's like all of a sudden, it's like, so that's what, I'm not just weird. There is a reason.
We've got Tom McKee says, enjoy the Monday Club. Thank you absolutely. I know a lot of people really do enjoy the Monday Club, and I always feel incredibly honoured that you guys take time out of your schedules and spend Monday evening here on the Monday Club. I just feel absolutely honoured that you want to hang out with me like this. It is really great. And I just hope that I can keep up the red hot maximum bottom kicking pace. Daryl Hearn says, yeah, Monday has proper structure. Work, dinner, then some What's Monday Club. Boom, set up for the week. Oh, he's so kind. That's really nice. Garthian asks, will you ever get another book written? I've been loving reading the two I have, both physical copies and Kindle version. Physical is staying as due to being signed. Yes, the if you have a rummage
Thank you
underneath...
so much, Garthian, for
that is very
asking
kind
this,
with-
because I have been asking Jenny for the third part of her Stars trilogy.
There is a third book, and I have not finished writing it, and I have
even
been
made a-
writing it for 10 years.
I even made a test book cover for it, for her. We know the title, it's Alone in the Stars.
Yes.
And she still didn't
And
do
I
it.
know what the plot is. It's just I've had 10 years of not quite getting round to... it's trying to write the opening. I've written the opening to it. The first 10,000 words of the book I have written 3 times and can't get a good handle. But do dig out from... I think underneath there...
You're going to make me get off my chair.
Yeah, just
But
underneath...
I'm lazy, I don't want to
Just
move.
be careful. I don't want to see you fall down those stairs. Underneath there, see if there's a couple of the books. Then we'll show the good people. And have we still got an offer on for people buying?
Yeah, go on then.
You post the link, but yes, you can still pick up my science fiction books. And there's quite a lot of them actually. We've only got certain physical copies here, but if you go through Amazon, you can find loads of them. But also the comic collections, if you're that way inclined. But finally, Bringing Home the Stars and Twinkle Little Star. And oh, for some reason, we've actually mysteriously got the full set.
No, you haven't. I'm going to get the rest.
So these are the 2 science fiction books which Garthian is talking about. The Cupboard Monkey will be posting a link at some point. So we've got Bringing Home the Stars, Twinkle Little Star, and then we've got some of the comic collections. So I've got 3 of them here, which I co-write the scripts, so he does the artwork. And it's a great way actually of supporting the channel. And it's coming up to Christmas, really good Christmas presents for people. Right, Tim Condrup says, my grandparents live in World War II in Bath. I presume it's lived. And when my uncle was little, my grandparents used to take him on the Bath Hills when the bomb drops. I can imagine. I know that my grandfather used to... well, he was evacuated to Weston-super-Mare, and there was an air raid on Weston-super-Mare, and when there were air raids, they all ran out onto the beach, was where the townfolk went to escape the air raid. Unfortunately, a German fighter pilot decided it would be a really clever idea to strafe all the civilians on the beach, and killed my great-grandfather and injured my grandfather in the process. So sometimes it's not entirely the safest place to be. There's some more books here. We've got All Over the House book 3. I didn't realise we had a physical copy of this.
We have 1 left, yeah.
These have sold particularly well. And then some more of my sci-fi books. So we've got... actually, that one's not sci-fi. So we've got... These are a trilogy. So there is another short trilogy available.
Where once the faithful ran, roamed and rise?
Ran, roamed and rise. So that's a trilogy. God, I feel like a saleswoman here.
Yeah.
So that's All Over the House book 3. Comic collection. And then Long Summer of War. This is a standalone book written as... it's one of those things, you get an idea and I just wrote it. It's not sci-fi. It's not comedy. It's chick lit. So, you know, make of that what you will. Right. We've got 363 people in. It's great to see you all in. Don't forget to tickle that like button. And share the stream as well. Simon Trains MRS says, when I met New Junction at Crew All Change event, honestly, I was nervous as hell, being honest, but sometimes I'm not like that. And I think as well, sometimes it can be odd when you meet somebody that you know quite well through like TV, film, YouTube, radio. When you meet them that first time, it can be a weird juxtaposition because you feel like you know them through listening to them, through watching them, and then you're in that position where you don't quite know what to say. And coming at it from both sides, I remember meeting Terry Wogan and Alan Dedicoat at BBC Manchester when it was at Oxford Road. And Alan Dedicoat, of course, is the voice of the Balls. That's what they call him. He's a continuity announcer.
Yeah.
But it's really weird because you build up this mental... I've told this story many, many times. You build up this mental image of what you expect him to look like based on having heard him a lot. And then when I met him, he didn't look anything like that. I just remember thinking, it's like, this guy's being dubbed. You see his mouth move, but your brain refuses to acknowledge that voice is coming from that person. And Terry Wogan was a nice enough chap. But I just felt totally starstruck. And I know when people have come up to me at shows, don't be scared. I'm just a normal person. Honest. I know that you may have... I know you're not normal. But
I don't think you count as normal, but you're friendly.
I am friendly, yeah. And it's always great to meet people in person at events. And it's something I've really missed this year. It has to be said. I know last year, did Alexandra Palace, did Worley, and it was just so great to meet so many people who watched my channel. So if you do see me in person, don't feel scared. I'm just a normal person. I don't bite. Do come up and say hello because it's always great to meet people who've been watching my stuff.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions here. Ben Tullett says, I've got to ask, how excited was Zoe when she saw the recent advert for the new Doctor Who? When it was announced, just as the trailer and all that was Captain Jack, I wasn't enthused. He's not a favourite character of mine. I understand that a lot of people adore him as a character, and that's fine, and you do you. He always came across as a bit too in your face for my liking. I prefer a more reserved hero. But then I saw the full trailer, and it looked fantastic, and I'm really, really psyched to see it. So yeah, the teaser didn't do it for me. Apparently it did it for a lot of people though. They were amazed. But I'm looking forward to it now because of the full trailer. You have something to say, Jen?
I do, yes. This being not a Doctor Who channel, but thank you for your insights. Tony Crean has very, very kindly donated €5.
Oh, thank you very much.
Big thank you for that. It's incredibly generous. They say, "Hiya, Jen, from a new railway modeller." It is a great hobby, and as I always say to people, there's a lot of transferable skills. And in fact, any creative, hands-on type of hobby is a great hobby to have. Model railway building does incorporate a lot of other transferable skills, things like the electrical side of it, the woodworking side of it, problem solving. There's a lot of great things, but it's so great to be able to actually do something physical like this to get us through lockdown as much as anything.
It's an interesting question here from Naive Gauge.
Mm-hmm.
He says, so is railway modelling a male-only hobby? I've just analysed the names of my customers during the lockdown, and only 9% of them have female names. I want to address this. Back in the retro gaming scene, a lot of female gamers admitted that when they were trying to be part of computer communities in the 80s and 90s, they would often pretend to be men for the purposes of writing into magazines and things because it got them a better response. Their conversations didn't suddenly turn to, oh, you're a woman in this area, how do you find it, blah, blah, blah. You'd actually be able to talk about the thing that you were there for. So I wouldn't be surprised if a few women are still doing that in certain communities.
It's interesting, actually. When I first started doing things like writing magazine articles and kind of doing the YouTube videos, what I actually found was a lot of women would come up to me at places like shows and say, you know, thank you very much for making it acceptable for women to admit that they like model railways. And actually there's a lot more of us who are into model railways.
We walk amongst you.
Yeah, I think it probably is still a male-dominated activity.
Check that while you're talking.
But there is definitely a lot of women. And in fact, Anne Diamond, famously, is probably one of the more famous female railway modellers.
Now, it does have a good point there. My customers would not give a different name just buying products on eBay, etc. That is true. That is very true.
And also a big, big thank you to Mark Wilson, who has donated £5 through the paypal.me link that is in the description box down below, and says, £5 for the kitty, me duck. Oh, thank you ever so much. So we've been putting it. I'm actually quite tempted to get one of the Rapido Trains J70s. I think a lot of people would recognise it as being Toby the Tram Engine from Thomas the Tank Engine, and that's what Toby is actually based on.
We have a Toby the Tram Engine in that box, don't we?
We do, but it's made of plastic and card, and it's not very... Well, it's probably actually the most realistic shaped locomotive in that box, given that a J70 looks like a garden shed on wheels.
Could you pass the box to me and I'll show everyone what we're talking about?
Let me just move.
Because actually,
this
some of the
enormous pile of books.
Yes. Sometimes it makes you shocked when you see just how many books we've produced.
Yeah, and that's not my full set.
I think a few people will be quite interested to see what these things are in this game, because it's something that a lot of you haven't seen.
Whilst you're having a rummage, I've got a few comments here I want to read out.
Having a rummage.
Garthian says, I can confirm that Jenny is a nice person to meet. And actually, yeah, we really enjoyed that day at Statfold Barn Railway.
You were in your element.
I was, yeah. And Garthian very, very kindly invited us down, organised the tickets. We spent a day there, and we were actually quite lucky because it was just before everything kind of ratcheted down for the second wave. So I think it was probably about the last opportunity there was to do anything like that. Liam at New Mills Muller Railway says, I love Captain Jack, mainly because I fancy him. He is quite suave.
A lot of people would say he's rather tasty, yes.
Stephen Cameron actually says, at Worley last year, I saw you arriving. I thought about speaking to you, but I bottled out. No, you should have come over and said hello. But look, don't worry.
She doesn't bite much.
I know it can be quite scary sometimes. What do you want? The sweeties?
Press 5 for the action cam.
Oh, action cam. Okay, there we are. So this is Toby the Tram Engine from this board game. So it's actually quite a well, until you see that it's got no back and no roof. But yeah, maybe we should, I think we should look to get a Rapido Trains J70 for two reasons. One, really, really want one. And that's a good enough reason in itself. But also, I haven't actually got anything. Yeah, I wouldn't leave it there. There's a train coming.
I'm not going to leave it there for the moment. I'm just going to show... This is what the base of them is. Every single player character in this game is this weird base.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put the card over the top to put on a certain character.
What on earth is the Noisette triangle?
Noisette World, or whatever. And it's not Noisette, it's Noisette. I believe it's Swiss French.
But Stephen Cameron, yeah. To get back to that, when I first met Dick Strawbridge, we were probably on about the third day of filming of Biggest Little Railway, and when he finally rocked up, I felt really, really nervous about meeting him because I hadn't met him up till then. I know some of the people had, because there was 2 days of filming in London, and I was there on, I think it was day 2 of filming in London, and a lot of other people were there on day 1. And Dick Strawbridge, as far as I'm aware, he came on the day 1. We got to meet, I think it was Hadrian Spooner was there on day 2. But, so I didn't get to meet him at the London filming. And then when he did finally rock up, I, of course, was the D-team leader. And, yeah, we'd done a load of stuff. They'd filmed here, and I knew from a long, long time before, the bit where they go like, and the team leader's going to be. They kind of told me...
Well, did they do it in that voice?
No. But then I got to meet Dick. And I was a bit starstruck because I remember watching him when I was a teenager on Scrap Heap Challenge. So to finally meet him, I didn't quite know what to say, but I had to talk to him because you know, it was part of the filming. So I very, very quickly got put in my ease. Wait until it comes out the other side. very, very quickly he put me at ease, actually. And I know that some of the other people as well, the other team leaders, like Paul and Lawrence and that, and they possibly felt a little bit the same. But Dick very quickly put us at ease. So yeah, you should, Stephen, if you do see me, do come up and say hello. It'll be lovely to talk to you in person.
Brian Stone says, how did you get on with Mr. Strawbridge?
Very, very well, actually. And I have talked to him a few times via email after filming. So after everything had gone out.
You tried to get him involved with another project, didn't you?
Yeah, talked to him about a couple of other projects. I was doing some work at the time through... I got asked to be involved with a thing with Plum Pictures. They do things like the James May Man Lab, that kind of thing, and did some development work. I'd talk about it because it never went anywhere. They ended up doing Big Trouble in Toy Britain with James May instead of the thing that I was working on.
Which is something that often happens with TV shows. You pitch it, and it might get accepted, it might not. And if it does get accepted, it doesn't mean it's actually going to get produced.
They had a number of parallel things going on, and ours wasn't the one that did anything. But I did speak to him over email a couple of times, and I seemed to get on with him quite well. But even though I do have his personal email, and I think I've got his phone number in my phone somewhere from when we did film Biggest Little Railway, I've never dared ring the phone, I have to say.
Oh my goodness, no.
But I don't want to overuse the email address because you never know when you start to irritate somebody who goes like, why are you still contacting me? He'd probably be absolutely fine about it, but I don't want to abuse that trust. But he was absolutely fine, actually. He was an absolute gentleman throughout filming, got on really well with him. So, yeah, loved the experience. Right. Big hello to Lorenzo's Rail channel. Lifestyle Unleashed says, you'll have to visit Enwin's headquarters with Zoe in the spring, Jenny. There are several new layouts to see and new products. Yeah, I really look forward to that. Hopefully once we're out of lockdown, we can sort something out. Minnie with Staston Junction says, I'm a woman and I love my model railway. Yeah, there's a lot of women actually doing the model railway stuff, and I must admit, ever since I've started doing a lot of high-profile things, so like the TV stuff and the YouTube channel, I've had a lot of women come up to me and say, you know, it's great to see women in the hobby. And I always liken it, I said this in an interview actually with, can't remember who it was an interview with. It was, I think it was a newspaper or something.
That's button,
Oh, sorry, I forgot we were on the roving cam too much. And I have to say, I did say that, I said, in some respects, because of stereotypes and society's expectations, women admitting that they like railway modelling was a bit like having men that would admit that they're into knitting or flower arranging. There definitely are men who are into knitting and flower arranging, but because of stigmas and stereotypes, they might not want to admit publicly to that. And I think women with railway modelling is for a long time been a little bit like that. And I know that something that Anne Diamond said in an interview, that, you know, she kind of embraced it much later in life and kept it a bit secret. Let's see what the roving cam is actually pointing.
Probably not anything useful. A little bit too high, isn't it? So
yeah, so the cupboard monkey is trying to get a different angle here. I'm not really quite sure that it shows much. I mean, that's the corner, which...
It kind of shows something. We don't normally see quite into that corner at this angle.
Yeah, well, no, because if I go to this angle, everything that you're showing is visible in that angle. So
it's not the same angle.
Show them something they can't see.
Donkett's Model Railway says, yeah, as if there isn't a stigma around model railways for men as well.
And that's what we're trying to dispel. Right, Carl Scheil says, very good layout, thank you ever so much. Mike and Sue Pudham Junction, I'm learning from Mike and getting into modelling. It is a great hobby, actually, I have to say. Alan Reynolds says, my parents did their courting on the hills above Dover during the Battle of Britain. Later in
That's an
1944...
extreme time to do some courting.
Well, yeah, something to do whilst your town's being bombed. Later in 1944, my father landed at Arromanches in Normandy for a year-long trip as far as Hamburg, Germany. That reminds me of that thing about the pilot.
Oh, yes.
And he was coming in to land at, what was it, Berlin Tempelhof Airport or something. And they said, have you never been here before? I said, well, no, I came once in 1944, but I didn't stop. Didn't bother landing.
Yeah, I didn't stop.
Yeah. Moreland Model Railway Andy, a big hello to you. Robin Price as well. Says, hi Jen, hope you're keeping well. Loved your vid on the box iron ore wagons. Very informative. Thank you ever so much. And we do have them going round. In fact, on the screen right now, going down the gradient, we have got the PTA tipplers. I haven't actually activated the flashing tail light, but it is a lovely feature. It's the first time I've seen it on a ready-to-run wagon. You just be blooming careful messing about.
I have to be.
Yeah, you do. I can't afford to lose you. I'm not doing my own smegging laundry. Yeah, Ham Shackleton says, it's the same with model flying. Very few are females. Mike and Sue Pudham Junction says, a lot of women in gaming won't use headsets as they get a lot of negative comments when guys find out, so they assume a male presence. So yeah, I mean, that was something I remember you saying, that you didn't tend to talk on the headset.
Oh my goodness, no.
Because unfortunately you get a lot of idiots who basically very sexist and crude.
Well, not just that. I did admit to being a girl on one game of Quake, and immediately got marriage proposals.
Yeah, so
that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to shoot people with...
Yeah, I'm here to shoot people in the face. What makes you think that I am the most amazing mate for you?
Yeah.
So we're munching our way through Quality Street at the moment. So talk to the nice people. I've got my mouth full.
What? No, I haven't. Come on. So we've had a few questions on when the videos will be starting, and it will be within the next 5 minutes. So,
Class 05, big hello to you. Says, as you've delved into the wonderful world of 009, are you considering getting the Hellion Lin when it comes out? I am considering it, actually. Oh, sorry. It'll be interesting to see how well it goes around curves, because the Manning Wardle does have a bit of a reputation for struggling with tighter curves.
And Ben Tollett says, is that in TARDIS near the treehouse? It isn't. It's a car, isn't it? There's a car parked under there.
It's a Fordson tractor. The blue thing's a tractor.
They're all talking about the other thing, Jen.
It's a Series 2 Land Rover.
Yep.
It's actually modelled after the one my dad used to own. Simon A.C. Martin, who you might remember from GMRC and Bearsford Railway, he actually specifically rejigged it to mimic...
Such a bad reputation, didn't he? On the
undeservedly so.
Undeserved. Dazza 1977 says, Jenny, you're having Quality Street for a Quality live stream. So, sorry, before I jumped in, what were you saying about your friend?
My friend?
Simon Martin.
He actually rejigged it, painted it to match my dad's old Land Rover and gave it the correct number plate as well. Bo Minnick says, I have a Rapido J70, buy one. I will do, actually. That'll be what we're saving up for today. Brian Stone says, my father landed at Arromanches. I'm butchering the pronunciation of that. Also got to Rhine, then posted to India and Sumatra. I've been researching his regiment, the 146 RTR.
Right, we're going to have to start on the videos soon, because I think we have 14 of them now.
Right, a couple of questions are going to, whilst you queue up the first video.
Yeah, go for it.
Somerset Andy says, Jenny, have you tried the Woodland Scenics OOHO wheel cleaner? I have not, I have to say. Andy Laws says, J is an 060 right in L&ER terminology. Very much so, right? In the LNER, they used letters to denote wheel arrangements. So, for example, J, very common one, any locomotive with an 060. A was a 462, hence A1s, A2s, A3s, A4s, and of course there's A5s. I think went up to A10. O, as in the letter O, is a 280, a consolidation wheelbase. So that's why you get things like the O1s, the O4s, the O2s, the Tangos. Oh my word.
And of course, you've got to remember the special A4, most popular version, the one that's the size of a sheet of paper.
George Botterini has donated very generously $10 more. It says put it towards the J70. Thank you ever so much. That is incredibly generous. And yes, I think we will be putting it towards the J70 from Model Rail magazine. Commissioned these, so I will be buying one of those through Model Rail magazine, and it will go through a full review, even though the model's been out for a while. And I was really interested on two counts. You know, when I was younger, I used to love the Thomas the Tank Engine books. So obviously, Toby the Tram engine is based on a J70. But also, I'd love to check out Rapido models, and it's a great opportunity to buy something for the first time made by Rapido models. Oh my word! Simon Trains MRS has also donated £5 and says a small contribution to the J70 from me as well. Oh, thank you ever so much. That is incredibly generous. Thank you ever so much. J94 says, so there was an LNER A5. Now, actually, there is a great website. I think it's the LNER Encyclopedia or something like that online, which lists everything LNER. It is such a great resource, it has to be said. So, I don't have a link to hand, but it gives you details on every single type of locomotive that the LNER had. Searchable by its class number. So, you know, from J1 to J94 and ditto for all the other letters of the alphabet. And actually, strange enough, there were pretty much locomotives for pretty much every letter from A through to Z.
So, our first, unless you're still going.
J94 says, we'll check that out, Jenny. Thank you. And also, Martin Hare says, Jenny, you're not helping my diet by eating chocolate. Well, I eat it, so you don't have to.
Yeah, if Jenny eats all the chocolate, then there won't be any left.
Richard Swiderski says, TARDIS in open wagon.
Yeah.
So the TARDIS has been spotted, but we're going to go to the first of your model railways that have been sent in by sending the URL of the YouTube video via email to zoe@zoerobinson.com. So the first up is Chris's Trains, and this is a little bit of UK Christmas in the USA. So if you want to cue that up, let's go over and hit play. So we've seen this layout before, but we've got a Christmas theme going on now.
It's always lovely to see as well.
Very much. A Bachmann 57XX, and I do like the coaches actually. That's an interesting livery.
There's a Santa on the back.
and look at the red tail lights. And this is such a fun layout. There's so much going on. I like it. Are they slot cars on the top as well? Like oldie worldy on the very top.
I can't see the slot, but they might be.
A bit like Scale Electrics.
I like that building as well. That's quite nice.
It's good fun layout. Good wholesome fun.
Absolutely.
And the 57XX Pannier from Bachmann there in the London Transport livery is a lovely locomotive, but I'm really intrigued by the livery on those coaches. Are they actually a re-livery?
I don't know, but it's very nice.
Big hello to Sparky 107. Great to see you in. George Botterini says the American GG1 was two G-class 460s back to back. I must get more into US outline stuff. It's one of those things. They do look like they might be.
Yeah.
But certainly the US outline stuff, I would like to build a US themed layout at some point. I'm getting 009 out of my system at the moment with Meneth Tatis. But I really love to explore US stuff, and I know that American Limited Editions, part of the San Juan Model Company, are sending over some US tank cars for review, so it will be an opportunity.
That was a really good one.
To delve into the world of US outline railways. And I love Continental Modeler. Don't think like Continental, that's like French and German. But Continental Modeler is a magazine in the UK, also has all of the US outline layouts in the UK for publication. And I actually quite often, I must admit, Steve Flint will hate me for this, as will Callum at SDJR7F88. But back in the early 2000s, I actually switched my subscription from Railway Modeler to Continental Modeler because I was so in awe of the standard of modelling on some of the US outline stuff. Now, is this the one that we struggled to find last week? So, let's get this queued up. And was this from Crossways Point? Oh, the Growler Blackwood N-gauge layout.
Yeah.
So if you want to make that full screen, and we will go over to the Growler Blackwood N-gauge layout. And I loved it. I like this.
For a second there, I thought
you've
that
got
was real.
super elevation. You see how the train leans into the corner, just like real trains. That that is actually can be quite tricky to do.
Wow. This
natural light as well.
The natural light is making this look real. When I first saw it moving, I thought, hang on, that looks real.
Oh yeah,
wow.
I like the complex junctions.
This is a lovely.
This is a really lovely railway. And is this N-gauge?
It's like gasworks.
No, it looks like a cement silos.
Ah, right.
This is actually really, really nice. I love the point work. Really, really nicely done. Oh, and you've painted the sides of the rails. It does add a lot. That slightly rusty colour. But I love the lean you've got on the track as well. This is really, really nice.
Every little bit is just adding to this to make it look so real.
Gwian Rhys Davies agrees with me. He says that is some amazing super elevation. North End Sidings Model Railway Growler does good modelling, very much. And Ruben Ashwell says pretty cool to see super elevation being done on model railways. And Matthew Hobbs says great N-gauge layout. Flint Hills Model Railway Jeff Hammond says yes, it's N-gauge, and that is amazing. You look at that and the detail is what you would expect with a larger scale, but it's actually N-gauge. That is actually quite small. When you look at the level of detail, that is superbly done. Ooh.
Oh, that is wonderful.
And this is like the extra detail that really does make a model layout. With the station building above the tracks, I really do love this layout. There's so much going on, so much detail.
Oh my goodness.
Oh look, the flashing RAC van.
That street looks brilliant. The combination of modern and very old buildings just makes it look real.
I like the way you get the reflection from the flashing lights in the Marks and Spencer's windows, but there's so much great stuff going on this layout. I really do like this. James Petts loves the taxi rank as well.
So good.
Pace of 57 trains is amazing work there. Fantastic layout. Flymo
James
Chairman
Petts says this layout is very engaging.
Very much, but you look at it, the kind of detail you're seeing there. If you'd have said to me that was 00, I would have fully believed you. It's so highly
engaging.
I know I was ignoring you, but the level of detail. That is an incredible depth of detail. I love that scenery. Look at that. I am loving this layout. Train Kid Studio says, where do you send the videos again? If you send the URL, so not the video as an attachment because it won't get through, but send the URL in an email to zoe@zoerobinson.com, and that's Zoe spelt the European way, which is just ZOE. There is no Y on the end of the Zoe.
It's so good.
Yeah, but the super elevation as well is just such a little magical touch. And
it's really got
knowing that it's N-gauge, that's even more special, I have to say. This is a great model railway.
Oh my goodness, those lights with the slightly darker background. It looks like it's getting a little dark, maybe winter.
Oh, and this is Class 37s.
Excellent background.
I like your back scene as well. That is, you can get a really good effect when you've got a back scene like that. It makes it feel like there's more depth than there is. It's something that Les has done with the back scene up here, and it's really, really good.
I really like that. That was very well done. Well worth the wait of a week.
Very much. So a lot of people loving that one. So I think Flymo Chairman 1 has posted a link to that, but that is a really great layout. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Somerset Andy says, always looks great with an HST. Again, that's something that is also lacking from my collection, it must be said.
Okay, now this one is going to be a bit interesting.
Oh, that TARDIS is getting very close to hitting the underside of that bridge.
This is James Petts.
Oh, it has done.
It did a while back, Jen. This is James Petts with model railway videos, wires under the baseboards, Monday Club edit.
Oh, right.
Apparently it's a cut down version of his main video, and he's asked me to put the URL into the chat, so I'm going to do that now before we even see it, because that's the long version.
Tony Wright says, Jenny, you can get Model Railroader from W.H. Smith. I must look into that, actually.
Yeah, you can. I've seen it. I thought you knew. Okay, shall we show this off? Hopefully this will work out all right.
Right, there we are.
Track
N-gauge. So another N-gauge layout.
Wow, that's an interesting video effect he's got there. Hyper focused on one small part.
Yeah. There's a lot of track there. Oh, the labyrinth of wires. I do.
Oh my goodness!
That is neat. Can I just say that is very neat.
Which one do you cut? Is it the red one or the green one?
Cupboard monkey, behave yourself. It's one of the things actually. Wiring I find very difficult. It's one of my least favourite activities to do. So I always I look with great envy with people who are able to do all this really intricate stuff, and I can see there you've got loads of modules going on to do various things. That is really actually very neat wiring, it has to be said.
I suppose when you get to this level of
oh, somebody's already spotted the TARDIS. And can I just say that they're not even seeing the main video there?
Like I was saying, when you've got this amount of little PCBs and things doing this, that and the other, I suppose having a lot of intricate wiring requires you to be tidy about it. Otherwise you're forever forgetting which wire goes where.
Yeah, or if you're like me, you start out with good intentions and buy 6 different coloured rolls of wire, find that you use somewhat more of some than others, and are too cheap to buy more wire, so you end up using the other colours for the wrong bits. And it really is a rat's nest underneath. So this is actually, I mean, this is pretty hardcore stuff.
This is setting off my retro gaming sensors, because
wow,
we do this sort of thing as well.
I just look at the neatness. And with this, that is, sir, you are an incredible solderer compared with me. I can blob solder onto things.
North End Siding says, here we are in the Gamma Quadrant, watch out for the Borg.
But this is... wow.
Yeah, Stephen Cameron says, the wiring under my layout looks like somebody set up a bomb in a bird's nest.
Yes, definitely. There's some really... I mean, there's a lot of thought put into this. A lot of thought. I mean, I am jealous. I daren't show you what it looks like underneath these baseboards, but it's like somebody just like basically set fire to a dumpster full of wire is what's happened underneath my baseboard.
Just the one. Just the one dumpster. It's to be honest with you, I'm loving the video quality he's got here with the steady shots of the electronics. It looks great. Oh, there's one you'll like.
Ooh. Fidget Stay Alives. I approve of Stay Alives. I can say that to James Petts. He always says that to me. And it's like, I approve of Stay Alives. But, I mean, it really does allow the slow speed running that you're seeing there. I'm really looking forward, actually, to the DCC Concepts plugin Stay Alives to go with the Zen Black V12s. But also don't forget you can check out the Stay Alive range available from the channel sponsored Trainomatic. We have done some videos on those as well. Reasonably easy to add, need a little bit of soldering skills, but it so improves the running characteristics of locomotives, especially smaller short wheelbase locomotives and slow speed running.
We've got an interesting comment here from Dongit's Model Railway. Not buying more wire is a false economy. Just price up the time that you spend confused about the wiring, and the cost of another spool of wire will be tiny.
And that is true to some degree. What I will say to you is that, touch wood, I've not had any problems as yet.
As yet.
Yes. Essentially, I don't use complex modules and stuff, and the most complex it gets is using the shuttle ABC modules from Trainomatic and from DCC Concepts. Everything else is just like A to B wiring. I use solenoid point motors. If a point doesn't flick because I've got a dry solder joint, it's basically wires from point motor to switch. That's all I need to check. Right. Thank you ever so much for that,
really,
James.
Really well done.
It's always interesting to see elements like that, because I think it's one of the areas that certainly newcomers to the hobbies have a lot of questions about the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts and model railways that can quite often be really difficult to get information on. So stuff like that is really useful for that. Now, next up we've got Tim Condrup, and this is my Hornby Class 43 HST Intercity 125 black and white and test run. So this is in the Intercity livery that won the poll. So press the button, let's go. And this is actually a really nice livery. If I was going to get a HST, this livery is crying out to me, actually. You naughty guys. You just turned me on to these things which I never thought I wanted, and now I do.
Yeah, everyone's a bad influence, including Jenny.
Yes. Thank you very much, Flymo Chairman 1, for sharing some of the channel links as well. And
yeah, sorry, I keep forgetting.
Also James Pets as well. Thank you ever so much for that video. I really enjoyed it, actually. It's great to see how other people do their wiring.
Yeah. Also, I'm very impressed with his filmmaking skills. I liked how he did that.
Yeah, it was grand. Also, I totally agree with you, James Pets. Jennifer needs to get an HST. I do.
Jenny needs to get a winning lottery ticket. My goodness, that's a livery I haven't seen.
That's the original livery, isn't it?
Wow, so that predates me.
Yeah, that's. I'm sure that's the original livery. But I do like Intercity Swallow is a really great livery.
And they're now having a head-to-head. Oh. And a kiss.
There's no buffers.
Aww. They like each other. James Pett says the filming and editing took ages. I bet it did.
The Cupboard Monkey really does sympathise with that.
Yeah.
So, James Pett says the original livery HSTs actually lasted until 1990 on the East Coast Main Line.
Did they? I don't remember them. I didn't do an awful lot of travelling by train back then, I have to admit. But the only ones I ever remember seeing were the black, white and red.
See, I started taking notice of travelling by train because I did it more probably early 1990s.
Well, around here it's subsidised trains, isn't it?
It's not that. If you went down into Manchester, you wouldn't think of doing anything other than going by train. That's just how you got to Manchester.
Whereas I lived in a village in the middle of nowhere, so we got the bus.
Yeah.
So you didn't tend to see a train unless you're going a really long way.
Yeah. See, we used to take the train up to Blackburn for the ice rink, and also, what are you laughing at?
Peter Clark said when I said that the two trains had kissed, he said it's an interkissy. They did repaint a full set actually into the retro livery. I do remember that. Was it Cargo D? You've got to let me do the David Attenborough impression. Northern Sidings says, and now we see the wild HSTs in their natural habitat. We see now the male approach the female in preparation for mating. I have no idea if that came out as a good David Attenborough impression or not.
Right.
I always like this layer. It's fun, it's colourful,
fun.
and it's nice.
And it sort of it alludes as well to elements of childhood joy with all of the Thomas the Tank Engine stuff as well.
Yes.
Oh, now we're getting it running.
Here we go. Beep beep. They don't go beep beep, do they?
There they go. Dirty track, possibly. I like the Battle of Britain class there as well. That is a lovely model. I've got one in pretty much the same livery, actually, although mine's lettered up as Southern. Yes, the Hellion saddle tank, or is that the DJ Models version? Oh, and an A4. I do love A4s. I think you've got dirty wheels, or possibly just need to adjust the pickups, I would suggest. You can. I think the earlier Hornby models weren't very generous with pickups.
Both end sidings on the railway says it was just like watching Planet Earth. my David Attenborough impression. Excellent. I'm not the best. Oh, have you broken something there, Jenny?
No, for the first time ever, the Acura Scale PTAs derailed. So just put them back on and coupled them back up again. But there's definitely, I think you've got pickup trouble with this. I would suggest
sometimes it happens.
I would suggest just check that there'd be wipers on the back of the wheels. Just
also,
check and make sure that they're touching the wheels.
The other thing to remember is that trains play up when they're on camera.
Yeah, they do actually. I'd sympathise with that.
Yes, you would.
Right.
The amount of times we've had trouble just trying to film a basic trains running video. So we're kind of pushing through these. Would you like a Class 37 or a Class 5, Jen?
Let's go to Class 37.
You like a Class 37?
Oh, it's in regional railways as well.
We've been told that we could use either of these, so here we go. This one is...
Who's this from? Captain Park Junction?
Yes, and it's Class
and this
37s.
Is in regional railways livery. Now, regional railways livery I do like pretty much as I like Intercity. Sadly, Bachmann seem loath to put out much in the way of regional railways liveried Mark 1s. Never seen them reissue them other than in a weathered form, which doesn't really go with the clean ones that they did first time round.
That is nice. I do like the look of that.
So I can see the 37 there. I'm guessing that on the video there's sound, so it'll be sounding up and stuff. I'm looking actually. You've got the looks like
there lights have come on.
Excellent.
Oh, it's one of those. The one that I commented on the train group that with the lights on the front, it looks like it's shocked.
Yeah, you did do that, didn't you?
Yes. Chris's train says when I said beep beep, I was thinking of the bus that I used to take.
Yeah. Beep beep. I'm a sheep. Say beep beep. I'm a sheep.
I try not to think about the bus that I used to take. I'm very, very travel sick, as Jen can attest to.
Yeah. Whoa. Yes.
And no, there wasn't a dog walker.
There was late at night on the A580. Apologies to the dog walker, and this one. I said lean all the way out. Oh no, not leaning all the way out. You ever try to chisel it out from the gap where the window goes down?
I apologise. I had norovirus. I could not contain myself.
Yeah, you know, I still to this day haven't dared take that door card off. See what mess you left in there. Oh. Right, Richard Swiderski loves the ballasting. Very neat ballasting, actually.
Oh my goodness. Ham Shackleton says, as I put at the beginning of tonight, Bachmann are about to release the old Virgin Red with white lines livery at £50 per coach.
They are getting expensive, it has to be said. Yeah, £50 a coach is... I remember when the Mark 1s first came out, you could pick them up at somewhere like Hatton's for £16.
Whose layout's this again?
I don't know until you make it.
I can't see on the little thing in the bottom corner. It is Catton Park Junction. I'll put a link. Since people are asking, I'll put a link in.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Has your little choo-choo gone
it's
wrong again?
The things afoot over here. It's alright. Oh.
And I love the weathering on these, and the garden with that lovely trim to the grass. It looks nice. It's, the different colours and textures. I see what you. Jen keeps telling me this during the building of the 09 layout. She kept saying that colour is important, but texture is just as important.
Texture is,
and that's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, it's something I always say, and it's totally true. There's it's what I was trying to get out of my mouth, but somehow my tongue got encrypted. The inspection saloon, lovely model. Do look out for them from Bachmann. Quite often they do come up second hand quite cheap, so always worth picking them up. Right.
There's a nice little vegetable patch hidden down there as well.
That is lovely modelling.
So much detail.
Dongus Model Railway says, I want some Regional Railways Mark IIAs from Bachmann for a late 80s Trans-Pennine rake. I think that Model Rail magazine commissioned a couple of sets of those, but they may all be sold out by now.
I'll tell you one thing. You know, this the Gronk It Up shirt I've got, this hoodie. It's very warm.
Is it? Do you need some air?
Thank you.
Right. Jeff Knight asks, Jen, have you seen pictures of the full-scale HST re-liveried in the old Midland Pullman blue? I have actually, and you're absolutely right. I think that would make a great model, and I would be very surprised if it doesn't appear in model form at some point sooner rather than later. North End Sidings Model Railway says, it's the gardens I like very much. People are saying, yeah, definitely. Dongus Model Railway says, I got a load of my Bachmann Mark 1s for £12 from Hatton's. I remember when they used to have £10 Bachmann Mark 1s, the ones that weren't selling well. And that's actually where my Regional Railways FK, Mark 1 FK, so that's the first corridor, I got brand new from Hatton's for a tenner.
And I also got... I've just seen the TARDIS.
What, on that layout?
There's a TARDIS on the layout. The Doctor is on...
Doctor in the house.
Yes. He's on
and also,
Park.
My Intercity livery BCK was also from Hatton's for a tenner. All my Mark IIs that I own, I also got in the Hatton's sales of old. And I remember they hung around for quite some time, even at 10 quid. I think my Regional Railways NEA full brake was a tenner as well.
Okay. We're going to move on now, onto the next one, because we have a fair few still to go. Crossways Point Junction is asking about his video. I'm trying to find it, but I'll get to it when I get to it.
Have you actually found it?
I don't know.
We are looking. If it's come through, we will find it. So we're looking for Crossways Point. It might be easier just to go and search for his channel. This is Melchester Model Railway. So I think with the next one, just go to his channel and pick his most recent video.
Yeah, I'll find it at some point.
We will find it.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Ready when you are.
There we go. Oh, I always love this layout. And actually, this is Melchester Model Railway.
It's so good.
I recommended the EFE BT Well Tank review. Do go and check it out. And I love his chaser cam. The chasing cam is so good. We've got to use this technique, you know. Look at this. Look. Cupboard Monkey, look at it. Look at it.
I'm trying to... Oh, I do like the chase cam. I'm trying to find Crossways Point Junction. Okay, I've got his name. Let's see what comes up.
I'm loving this
now. So,
and the Intercity livery on the HST.
I think I've got him.
Really does look good.
Yeah, Crossways Point Junction. We do have your video. I think. I hope.
You've got a lot of room in this attic. I'm jealous of the space that you've got there.
That is it is an amazing layout. I was about to say, I love the way you've managed to turn the camera, but then I realised it's going around the corner. Yeah. That is so good.
This is good.
Yeah.
I'd love at some point to see a kind of an overview of this layout. Because you can see there's like lots of little tracks that's disappearing off, like branches going here, there and everywhere. I always love to try and work out and follow where everything goes.
North End Sidings Model Railway says, to be fair, I'd love to see the chase cam as an angle on Monday Club. You know, we have the little cube camera. Our problem is whether we can actually get the picture to transmit to something that we can watch on the screen and therefore transmit to the... You know what? I'll try it tomorrow. I'll try a test live stream and we'll see what happens. Won't be long, but we'll see what we did.
I mean, it's certainly something we can do for videos. This is such a great angle. I love this, where it's just kind of pacing the train. Really I'd love to see what you're using as the chase cam.
It's very well done.
So, let's have a
the
look.
Speed as well. These
Thomas
things are going
Whittington
faster.
says, when are you coming back down west? And we can't really travel much at the moment.
Yeah, we're not allowed because we're in a plague zone.
Yeah. Pete Clark says, bet Garfield didn't spot that one. Patrick Furlong asks, are Cybermen and Daleks guarding anything on Jenny's layout?
Not this time, no. Jen, do you want to move on? Because
sorry,
that's the end.
yes.
That was brilliant. I really enjoyed
I always
that
loved
one.
the chase camera. There's really great layout. Hello to Exploring and Adventures. Great to see you. And Fat Wallet Boy 2 says, I've seen some Mark 1 sleepers and motor rail govs for around £30, which this days isn't bad for a new coach. I actually got a brand new inbox Intercity motor rail gov, the Bachmann one, brand new inbox, 25 quid. So I was well pleased with that. James Petts approves of the chase cam. Map the Dragon Railways has just sent a video in. Dazza1977 says, I've enjoyed the stream, Jenny and Zoe. Catch you next Monday. Bye, everyone. See you all again. Look, you take care, and we will catch you later. Now, we found the Crossways Point Junction.
I did find it.
So, let's go.
Here we go. And this one's Crossways Point Junction at the station.
Ah, you've got the Class 121 in the Silver Link livery. I do like that livery. It's one which obviously you've seen on my video because I did review it, and it's well worth getting. If you haven't seen my review video, do go and check it out. And if you do buy one, buy it through the affiliate link just to let Rails know that I sent you. But a lot of people got these HSTs with the Intercity livery. I must try and track one down at the right price. But see, this is what I always say to people. The problem I've got is it's very easy to spend a lot of money on this hobby.
We've got a question here that I can answer. Oh, where's it gone? Oh my goodness. Nathan Swales, Cast 43, says, how did you do the chase camera on the railway? I can answer that one. You sit the little camera in the back of a train or just sit in a little coach behind the locomotive.
I love the graffiti.
On a separate line to the one that you're filming. And then you run both.
Yes. I love the graffiti on that wall in the background.
Some of the detail is great. To be honest with you, graffiti does actually help things look realistic.
But you've got to remember though, graffiti only really starts appearing properly in the 1970s.
Graffiti as we know it now, yes. Beforehand it was scratched into walls and things like that.
Yeah.
The Romans were big on putting obscenities on pretty much everything.
Yeah, Caecilius was here.
Yeah, and some things a bit more than that.
Yes. But
Grumio est in horto circumspectat.
Yes. But the bigger question is, where was Metella? Right. But one of the things I think it's probably the proliferation of paint in spray cans. When that turns up, that's probably when graffiti as we know it turns up. But I think it's sort of New York was where it started.
Yeah.
They used to spray it and then it very
Devil's
quickly...
Bridge Maintenance Depot.
No. The Devil's Bridge. Ooh. I think that's a Sutton Locomotive Works 24. It is a lovely model, and I did say that in the review, but apparently Sutton Locomotive Works were unhappy that I didn't gush excessively over it.
Yeah, Richard Swiderski mentions something that we all have to remember. Kilroy has been around for quite a while. Yes, Kilroy was here.
Yes.
And
Big
James
hello
Pett,
to
of course.
Going to the Dogs. Great to see you as well. And James Pett says, Roman graffiti always makes me think of Life of Brian.
Yes. The Romans, they all go to the house.
Yeah.
It says Romans go home. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, no worries. Right, do we have another one? Oh, I'm just looking at the
have
time.
Many.
I think we're
We're
going to
keep
have
going.
to. Well, I was thinking we have a couple more, and then we might have to carry
We've got 6 left.
Wow. Well, come on then. We're burning daylight here because I'm looking at the time. It's 9 o'clock.
Okay, we're going to go for this one here.
So those of you who sent in 2 videos, because we've had so many, we'll pick one of the. Ooh.
Now this is Avonside running shots from Lifestyle.
Lifestyle Unleashed. So this is Enwin's 3D. You may recognise them. This is
Cadbury.
the Cadbury's Avonside. I love this layout actually. This is something that he sent me this video. I think it was last week, and I love the static grass application. I mean, the primary focus is the model there is one that they offer 3D printed in their own range to fit in a Smoky Joe chassis. But look, I love that disused type siding at the front. Look how it's turned out. Really nicely done.
Oh, we've got an interesting comment here from Fat Wallerboy too. Says, I can't find my video right now, but it featured a small camera stuck on the side of a Mark III coach to give you the impression that you were hanging out the window.
Oh, that's a good one.
That would be amazing.
So we've got some shunting going on here.
Richard Swiderski's just giving you a quick warning. Don't eat the Cadbury's Loco, Jenny.
Hey, what do you mean, Jenny? It's Zoe who's got the chocolate faster. I bought these for the cupboard monkey.
And I ate them. I thought that was the deal.
Oh, there you come. I know you're good. You're good for it, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I do like the Bachmann China clay wagons. They're an older model, but they do kind of hold their own. Although the hoods that they've got on them, you've actually got yours really, really neatly. Mine never quite sit right. I don't actually have any out on the layout at the moment. I love the static grass though. I must admit I'm a big convert to static grass. It has to be said. Train Kid Studios has just sent their video.
Oh my goodness.
Pam
Shackleton has just said, did they ever manage to prosecute Bill Stickers?
Who?
Well, you remember all those signs that Bill Stickers will be prosecuted.
No, it's Bill Posters.
Well, did they ever manage to prosecute Bill Posters? I don't remember the amazing case of Crown versus William Posters.
Can I just say, this one is, again, he told me about this. It's got the fully working Walshut's valve gear on the side. This does look really special. This is a different Cadbury's Loco. This is with the fully functioning valve gear. Look at that. See? This.
That is weird.
It is weird.
I don't normally see them like that.
It's really, really nicely done. So I'm just looking at a really, really nice model, and it does run pretty well. I love that disused siding at the front there.
James Petts is saying that's impressive valve gear.
Yeah, because that's a 3D printed body, and the valve gear has been made up and fitted to a Smoky Joe chassis, I think.
Class 5 says, can you pass some through the camera? I really want some quality streets now.
Okay.
It's not working.
Did you get it?
I'll just have to eat it instead.
Definitely. But they're really interesting locomotives. Lifestyle Unleashed, aka Enwin's 3D. Of course, there's the 10% discount at Shapeways at the moment that Lifestyle Unleashed did tell us about at the beginning of the stream. And you can find their models, including these models that you're seeing in this video on there, if you like the look of them. And, excuse me, want to try out a little ambitious project of your own to make something a little bit different. That one there is looks to be in the undercoat, slightly unfinished, but certainly it's a model that has never been offered ready to run.
Okay, right. We're going to have to move on quick because we haven't got much time left. We are actually past the end.
We are, so we're gonna
do
juice
one more,
box.
or do you want to save them for next week?
How many more do we have? Because I think people are still
9.
sending them in. 9. They're still coming in.
Yeah.
We're going to have to carry some of these over. So I suggest we go one more, and then if we haven't shown you video, we're going to carry that over to next Monday, Club. So next Monday. So I've already changed it.
Oh, you should have told me.
I did.
Okay, we have one that really piqued my interest because it's from a guy that we do know quite often. Turns up, and it's Shanghai 264359
definitely.
with something different for the Monday Club. And this will be our final one for this week because
No worries.
we just can't.
We've pressed on time, so I know somebody's just sent some in. What I would
4
suggest.
people have just sent some in.
So
sorry,
we're
guys.
getting them in faster than we can play them. So what I will say is that if you sent in a video and we've not shown it yet, we've not forgotten about you. We're going to carry them over to next week because we are running out of time.
Because you will find this very interesting.
So Bachmann China models now.
Chinese trains in HO scale by Bachmann China, and that's why I picked this one as our finale.
So the SS7C electric.
Within model railways, says on Star Trek, I never saw chocolate being replicated.
Oh, no.
In that case, you have to look at Star Trek The Next Generation. Deanna Troi loved it.
Yeah, Deanna Troi lived off chocolate.
In fact, one of her famous lines is, "I never met a chocolate I didn't like."
Yeah.
These are interesting looking locomotives and carriages.
Yeah. It's a whole range of models for the Chinese market. It's easy to forget that it's a huge market.
But it's the look of them. The shape is interesting. I do like this. Wow, that looked real for a second there.
Yeah, the
that
natural
lighting,
light really does work well.
So good. But yeah, this is something different. We don't see Chinese stuff. Chris's Train says, Zoe, did you get a video from me this week? Quite possibly I did. I'm not sure. We've got
so many come in that we've
I
basically
replied to as many as I could at the start, saying I've got it, but while we've been on air, I haven't been able to do
I like that. That's very much like an American GP40.
Yeah.
It looks like an EMD product.
I actually like the shape of them. They've got a bit of character to them.
Well, I need to get a US outline model.
I have to admit, it looks backwards.
I like the colourful train of wagons.
You know, I always see a locomotive as there's a big bit on the back where the people stand, and then there's the slightly thinner bit where the engine is.
Yeah.
But this one has the big bit at the front, and then the slightly little bit behind.
Also, a big hello to Worley Model Railway Club. It says, good evening, Jenny. Thanks for joining the Worley virtual event yesterday. Absolutely, and actually, thank you ever so much for inviting me on. It was a great pleasure, and as I said to you afterwards as well, always happy to be interviewed and do things for events. So thank you ever so much again for letting me come on that. Naive Gauge says, sometimes we see the same layout every week. I would prefer to see different layouts if there are too many for the time available. One thing I would say is we don't necessarily know which layout it is until we hit play.
Yeah. I'm very bad at remembering names.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
So we do try and get a good variety, and as I said before, all of the ones that have been sent in will be played out next week if we haven't played them this week. So we've yet to decide a theme. There will be a poll in the Jenny Monday Club YouTube, Facebook page. But I noticed in the time,
since we're having people saying that they'd like to see different ones, one more.
Okay, so this is Train Kid Studios. I know that you just sent this in. So I think this is a newcomer to the channel. Are we ready?
I can turn the volume off. And then bringing this up.
So it's just been sent in from Train Kids Studio.
And this is a Christmas layout.
So
this is nice.
Yeah. So we've got. It's quite interesting actually using I like the little lake in the middle as well. It really does work well. And the Christmas tree, and of course we're coming up to Christmas, and it mustn't be forgotten that trains do make a wonderful decoration.
They do.
Around.
There's a KFC.
Around a Christmas tree. Certainly a great way of doing a little bit of fun, different themed layout. That Lima level crossing, actually, I must admit, I had one of those when I was little. They've been around a while. From what I remember, mine, when the train went over it, it caused the barriers to come down because it was like a pressure sensitive plate. Ooh, well timed there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of these level crossings.
I always like the idea of a Christmas train going round a Christmas tree. We tried to do it last year with that old number 9 or whatever it was, and the railway in a box.
Z Fantasy Train says, "This is so odd. I'm sad Monday is over." Oh, it's a great way to kickstart the week. And like normally Monday would be back to work. Not for me because I start work on a Wednesday. But for most people it's like Monday.
Are we about to get hit with a train? Oh no.
No.
That would have been an interesting end.
Definitely. But look, thank you ever so much for that. That's a new name to the channel. I really do appreciate you sending that in. So thank you ever so much for sending in the Christmas 2020 layout. And that's Train Kids Studios. Thank you ever so much for that. Right, look, we're going to have to
Sorry
cut
about
and run.
the fact that we can't do the rest.
Thank you. I mean, we had a great turnout. People actually sending them in faster than we can show them. And I'm not complaining at that. That is great. So we've got a really good bunch of videos to kickstart us next week. So I'm really looking forward to that. But look, thank you ever so much, everybody who's contributed to sending a video in. Big thank you to everybody who's also contributed on the Super Chat and the PayPal.me. Really much appreciated. We're going to try and put all that together and get a J70. We'll be giving it a review. It'd be great to check out Rapido trains because it's not it's a manufacturer I'm obviously very much aware of, but I don't have anything by them, so it'd be great to put it to the test. And of course we'll see you next week at the same time for the Monday Club then. Until then, do stay safe and happy modelling. Don't forget as well to look out on Wednesday. We've got that full interview with Franbert from Acura Scale. Asked him a lot of probing questions and got some really great answers. And so a big thank you to Fran for taking the time out to sit down and be interviewed for the channel. And then on Friday we have got the next video in Project 009. Menith Tatis is coming together nicely, and we'll be looking at doing the trees, making these relatively cheaply actually from a natural product, seafoam, and
a bunch of stuff you found in the skip?
No, and War
thank
World
goodness.
Scenics. Also be showing you a little bit on the flower dressing as well. A lot of people have commented about the flowers, so the video does include me adding the flowers to the layout as well. But until next time, you guys take great care of yourself. This is me, Jenny Kirk, and the Cupboard Monkey.
Hi.
Saying bye for now.
Have a great night.